Hello everybody! So this clip is an excerpt from my new course, Mixing Cinematic Music. So if you like what you see and you want to see more, please check it out in the description of the video. Thanks and see ya! So this one is actually quite interesting, but it's not too known. And it's the multipliers, so the decay multipliers. So in most reverbs we'll have like a bass crossover or bass multiplier. And so why these exist is basically to simulate a more sort of realistic space. What you need to understand is that highs, as I mentioned before, they kind of die off quicker, they get absorbed sooner. And that means, of course, you have less highs in the tail, but it also means that they decay sooner. Like the highs stop sooner than the bass. If you play a sound in a big room, you will notice that the bass lingers for longer than the highs. The highs will tend to die off a lot quicker. So that's why you have these multipliers. As you can see, the high decay, so you have the crossover frequency here, and then you have different decays, which are multipliers. So basically the highs above 1.26k will be 0.73 times 2.1, so it will be a bit less than 2.1, if that makes sense. Then the bass and the low mids, as you can see in that particular case, the low mids are going to be a bit longer than 2.1 seconds because they have a multiplier that's bigger than 1. So this just kind of, this is a feature of all reverbs, which is realistic. And it just kind of makes the tail a little bit longer or shorter depending on the frequencies. So usually as you go more lower in the bass, you get longer decay times. Now, depending on your reverb, it might be completely different from this, but you will see that the highs, the very highs in general, will be shorter. If you have a preset that has a really long bass decay time, a multiplier, I would make sure it's not too long. You can, if you're not sure, just keep it at 1x, honestly, because there is no point in really having a very long smeared sub bass. It's not going to help your mix. In fact, most of the time you just cut the reverb in the bass. We're going to talk about that in the next video as well. So just know that the most important setting, I guess, would be the bass multiplier. You don't need to mess with this too much if you're not sure what you're doing. You can go with the presets, honestly. But if you want to mess with these, you can kind of tweak the decay of different frequency ranges. You can, I would say, just watch out for the bass. You know, don't use a preset that has 2 times multiplier on the bass. You don't want a 4-second tail on the bass. It's just gonna make things muddy. Now, having really long highs wouldn't really sound realistic, but for fun, why not? And if you wanna create a bit of a pad, at least you know what to do.